Hey everybody, this is Larry from the Shiz Network here back again, and today we are going to be doing the top 10 facts about Captain America. So without further ado, let's go right into it. So up at number 10 is that he was going to be named Super American. So believe it or not, Captain America was almost going to be named something else. During the World War II years, the creators of Captain America, Joe Simon and Jack Kirby, wanted the character with a strong political standpoint and make one that stands out, since patriotic superheroes was actually a huge thing at the time. The name that they actually originally chose was Super American because the name actually just simply screams patriotism. After realizing that the name wasn't going to work, the writers actually decided to give him the more iconic name that we know as today, which is Captain America. So up at number 9 is that Captain America is worthy of holding Mjolnir. So it was actually teased in the MCU movie Avengers Age of Ultron. Captain America is one of the only Marvel characters who is actually worthy enough to lift Mjolnir, and he's actually done it on 2 occasions. The first time was in 1998 when Captain America and Thor teamed up against Grog the Godslayer. With Thor overwhelmed by the might of his villain without his trusty hammer, Captain America was able to lift Mjolnir and throw it back to Thor. The second time was in the famous storyline Fear Itself. This time, Steve was able to lift the hammer after his shield was destroyed by the Serpent. Thor unfortunately lost Mjolnir during the battle. Cap was able to wield Mjolnir and lead the Avengers to victory. So up at number 8 is that, believe it or not, the character actually received backlash. Despite being America's favorite superhero, not everyone actually enjoyed seeing Captain America punch Adolf Hitler in the face. Back in 1940, when his first issue was released, the creators received a lot of backlash with hate mail and threatening notes. It goes to show that not every person, even back during this time, was not a huge fan of Captain America, and it's really hard to believe it, but eventually, almost everyone came to love Captain America after giving him the chance that he should have got when the character first came out, especially since America was heavily against the Nazis. So up at number 7 is that he faced off against Batman. This took place in 1996 when DC and Marvel decided to combine their comic elements into a mega crossover known as DC vs. Marvel. In this case, you had 2 famous superheroes literally battling it out in an amazing battle. So Captain America was set up against Batman, and in case if you were wondering who won, it was Batman who came out on top by knocking Captain America out with his batarang. The reason why Captain America lost is because there was a sudden wave of water that actually caught Steve off guard, and when Steve actually tried to hit him with a shield, he ultimately missed, and that's what gave Batman the ultimate opportunity to hit him with his batarang. Shucks for Captain America. So up at number 6 is that his shield was originally triangular. Yep, that's right. The shield that Captain America uses wasn't always circular. It was actually a triangle when it first started, but then it later changed as how we know it today. The reason why they actually changed the shield is because there was actually a Archie comics superhero called the Shield who actually bear the same appearance as the triangular shield. So in order to avoid similarities and lawsuits, Marvel decided to change the shield into circular to avoid those lawsuits, and thus makes the iconic Captain America shield that we know today. So up at number 5 is that the movie Captain America Civil War is the 7th live-action adaptation of the character. So Captain America actually made his movie debut all the way back in 1944 in a Captain America serial, which was also the first superhero movie ever made, by the way. This film actually stars Dick Purcell as Captain America. Unlike the more recent films, the original decided to forego the super soldier serum, and there's also no usage or mention of Captain America's traditional shield. He instead uses a gun instead of a shield throughout the whole thing, which was why the serial was a massive failure when it first appeared. He would also appear in other movies such as Captain America from 1990, which was panned by critics, Captain America the First Avenger, The Winter Soldier, The Avengers, Age of Ultron, Civil War, and now the upcoming Avengers Infinity War. So up at number 4 is that the guy who plays Bucky in the MCU, Sebastian Stan, almost got the part for Captain America. It's pretty hard to imagine anyone but Chris Evans playing the role of Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, but before he was cast, a whole crop of actors were actually considered to play Captain America. One of these actors was Sebastian Stan. He was actually considered for the role of Captain America at first, but then he ended up landing the role of Bucky Barnes, which is actually one of the most shocking things, because you would never suspect that someone who was originally supposed to play a superhero eventually went on to play a villain slash anti-hero in the MCU. So up at number 3 is that his death in 2007 made headlines. At the end of the 2007 storyline Civil War, the whole world was as shocked to discover that Captain America was assassinated. In this Civil War comic, what happened is that while Captain America was delivering a speech about the Superhero Registration Act, he was actually shot and killed by a sniper. A lot of people suspected to believe that it could have been Sharon Stone who was brainwashed, or it could have been Crossbones, but we actually really don't know this for sure. After the death of Steve Rogers, Bucky would eventually take the mantle of Captain America. His deadline was actually so shocking that it actually made headlines such as New York Times. It just goes to show that even comic book deaths could very well actually shock a lot of people. So up at number 2 is that he's actually older than Marvel. Now I know what you might be thinking, what do you mean? He came in the 40s, back when Marvel was known as Marvel, right? Well, for those who actually believe that Marvel was called Marvel when they first started, that's actually not true. When Steve Rogers actually first arrived in the comics, there was no such thing as Marvel Comics. It was actually called Timely Comics. Timely Comics, which was originally called Timely Publications, was the earliest comic book arm of American publisher Martin Goodman, and the entity that would eventually evolve by the 1960s, to which it would actually be called Marvel Comics. So yeah, Steve Rogers is, well, very old, literally. Okay, so finally for number 1 is that he had a very terrible childhood. Now this one is actually really dark. So Steve Rogers was born during the Depression, and he grew up in a frail youth in a poor family. Not only that, but his father was very abusive. This was actually revealed in a comic that came out in November of 2012 known as Captain America Issue 1, part of the Marvel Now relaunch. So Steve actually watched helplessly as his father Joseph hits his mother Sarah. She told her alcoholic husband to put down the bottle and stop making excuses for being unemployed. So he slapped her multiple times and nearly punched her in the face, but before he actually restrained himself. Steve actually asked his mother why she didn't just stay down, to which she replies, "You always stand up." These would be the inspirational words that Captain America would actually use and live to for the rest of his life. So it's safe to say that if Captain America never had the childhood that he had with his mother inspiring him, who knows if Captain America would have the personality that he has as a superhero. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, be sure to subscribe for more videos from the Shiz Network. And until then, peace out, deuces, beyond the infinite. As always, think for yourself.